Okay, let's get started. Sorry. Welcome to the session number 16 of Davos Experience in Tokyo. Davos Experience in Tokyo at Benesse is the title of this session. My name is Yoko Ishikura. I am a freelancer, trying to do a lot of things on my own rather than belonging to the organization. And it's great to have all of you here at Benesse, and I would like to thank Benesse to host this event. And we have been trying to have a little bit of a variety in terms of the location, in terms of the topic, in terms of the way that we hold the discussion. Let me ask you the question first. How many of you, this is the first time to come to the Davos Experience in Tokyo? Okay. It's quite a few. Good. Okay. One of the things which I would like to encourage you to do is to make sure that you make the best of this opportunity. And so speak up and try to share your ideas with others. And don't be shy, because this is such a low-risk context. So you can say whatever you want to and see what happens. And because we're going to be doing it in a small group, so you have a chance to speak up without worrying about your boss or your colleagues or whatever. This time we decided to pick the topic of aging. As you know, Japan is the fastest aging country in the world. And when the world looks at us, the country, quite a few things are of their interest. Abenomics is one. But in terms of the demographics, the working population declining, as well as the aging is one of the biggest issues that Japan is facing. And I think the rest of the world is aging very quickly as well, even the China and all these countries. So aging, if we can come up with something great ideas to resolve this aging issue, we will have a whole lot to contribute to the world. And Davos Experience in Tokyo is an opportunity for us to discuss some ideas so that you have a chance to share your ideas and we come up with a good and interesting solution. At the same time, if you can make a contribution to the world, that's even better. So that's why we picked up this topic of aging. But aging tends to be rather sort of kurai, not a very, it's a little bit depressing issue whenever we talk about it. And I was criticized by President Seike the other day of Keio when I said, well, let's shift the topic to the brighter side from aging. And he said, that's very bad. So we would like to have something very interesting and something very light and something of much more positive, encouraging kind of things. And we thought that the technology would be one of the means to resolve this aging issue, rather than the immigration and all these other things. And Japan is known for the technology. We have very good technological infrastructure, and yet probably we're missing some great ideas. And we're not just talking about high technology, but we can use any kind of technology to make the life of elderly, as well as those who take care of the elderly, better. And I think when we talk about the elderly, you may think that's the issue for the old people. However, most of us are going to, well, first of all, age. So we will be the ones who need to be taken care of. That's one. And another, which is much more acute and urgent, is that I think all of you have a career of some kind. But sometimes you have to balance your career because you have to take care of your parents who are aging. And in the same way as you have to take care of your children, the elderly need some care. So how do we balance the two, career and the elderly care, is a fairly important issue. So we would like to resolve, or we would like to come up with some ideas to resolve this issue, particularly through technology. But before we get into that, I would like Mori-san of Benesse to give us an overview of what's going on, the demographics scene, as well as what do we mean by care for the elderly, so that we have some ideas. And after his presentation, each one of you will pick any one of these 6 groups, and you'll get into the small breakout groups, and there is a description of some of the profiles of the people, and I'll explain what you're supposed to do, and then we'll get into the small breakout session. And at the end, probably about 9 o'clock or so, we will ask each group to report back what kind of ideas you came up with. So that's how we proceed. So with that note, Mori-san, please explain, give us an overview.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you? Good. My name is Akio Mori, working at the Benesse Holdings and at the new business development division. And I feel very excited to be here and discuss with you. Actually, for the first time, I was joining this session last week at ANA, and I was very much impressed because the session provides a mutual benefit to the students, this room, as well as the ANA as a corporation. So I hope the similar outcome will come to all of us in this room at the end of this session. Everyone knows Benesse? Okay. I think people know Benesse mainly because it's an education company, but actually we are doing elderly care business as well. So I think this is an appropriate place to talk about this topic today. And to facilitate you guys' discussion, I'd like to give you a very basic information about what there is in society, what's going on. And also I want to grab the image of what kind of challenges you may face during this aging society. So that's the purpose of the initial presentation. So this number, 30 million. This number is in Japan, the 30 million people are aged 65 and over. And this is the most aging society in the world, and this trend will continue in the future. And with the situation, Japanese government started the long-term care insurance system, started in 2000. So now basically all Japanese people are enrolled in this system at the age of 40. And then those people are required to pay insurance premiums. And when the necessity of nursing care arises, those people are required only 10% of cost to support this aging society. But actually, you may read the Nikkei Wednesday or Thursday, this 10% will rise to 20% because otherwise this system will collapse. So to financially support the system, this number will increase to 20%. So the new number, 5.5 million. So now this number of people actually receiving the nursing care insurance services. So that means 5.5 million are kind of officially recognized as the people who need the elderly care, some type of care. So again, this number will also continue to increase and increase rapidly. And 2.9 million. So this is the number of people who actually facing work and care simultaneously. So almost 3 million people already facing this issue. Those people actually need to work as well as need to care old people. And with that reason, actually 100,000 people kind of need to quit the job in 2012. That's why we hope to find some solutions to, we hope to stop this trend. That's the purpose of the discussion. Okay, so what is nursing care? I guess Japanese people have the image, but I think some of people are from other countries. So I hope, I'd like to give you what is nursing care, what is going on, especially in Japan. So what is nursing care? It's basically the meaning, the care for daily activities by family, relatives, and nursing care professional. It's about the basic stuff in every daily life of people, like cooking, eating, and shopping. So those activities, someone needs to help to do those basic activities. And nursing care means a variety of type of nursing care. So the insurance system covers the following those all of activities. The kind of heavy one is the nursing home care. So people need to stay at the nursing care facilities. And in some cases, home visit care, so people visit their home and take care. And daycare center is the center in each kind of region, and elderly people visit those locations to get some services. And also there's a community-based care, and this is a kind of group homes and for the elderly people with dementia, the kind of 痴呆症. And daily life at daycare center, this is the example. So regular day pick up from the daycare center. So people at daycare center come to the home and pick up elderly people and take them to the facilities. And started with the health check and bathing and lunch and rehabilitation and activities. Those type of things are done in the care center. I just want to give you my own example. My grandma is facing dementia, and my mom is living with my grandma. And basically, my mom is taking care of my grandma every day, but it's just so stressful and tired, and she has something else to do. So actually, 3 times a week, the grandma is going to the daycare center and getting those type of services. So this type of thing is occurring in many, many families in Japan. Okay, now the topic is what kind of issues you can think of if you are in a situation to manage both work and nursing care. This is a topic today. Worries when doing nursing care. Some of them are prejudices, but I want you to imagine what's going to happen if you are facing this situation by yourself. Maybe you guys are already facing this, but I hope to imagine what's going on if this happens. Maybe you cannot confess to others or bosses because it may negative impact on promotion, or as Ishikura Sensei says, maybe people are easy to say, hey, I have a baby, so I hope to take some days off. But if the reason is the nursing care, you may hesitate to confess the situation. And overwhelmed by pressure, mentally, physically, financially, it's a tough thing. So you may be overwhelmed. It's a very tough thing. And assume that it is hard to take your leave. So maybe you want to take days off, but maybe it's tough, it's impossible. So those type of things may happen once you face this problem in the future. And some ways to solve these concerns, in theory, you may think of those things like, okay, if you have nursing care professionals, just use them, get the help from those people. And also maybe utilize the company's welfare system and just take a week's month off. It's easy to say, but it may be hard to do. And communicate frequently. Of course, it should happen, but it may not happen. So in theory, those things are all correct. But in many reasons, in many cases, it may be tough. That's why if you use IT or technology, the burden of those nursing care challenges might be reduced even further. So I really hope you guys can think of some ideas to reduce those challenges and change society positively. Okay, and today's discussion, we talked to Ishikura Sensei, and I think the best way to facilitate this discussion, we prepared some persona for each group. So in each case, it's very different. Nationality, age, situation is very, very different in each case. So I hope you guys discuss, first look at the persona of each case and understand the situation. And imagine if you are that person, how to solve that person's problem by using technology. That's what I want you guys to do today.
Thank you very much, Mori-san. So you have a sort of an overview of how serious the aging issue is and what kind of things are the people who are taking care of the elderly are faced with. And we are trying to figure out the ways to ease. And as a matter of fact, I have a father who is 92 years old and who talks about the same thing probably 5 times during the course of dinner. And when I go to his senior residence and have dinner, he has about 5 girlfriends because there are fewer men than women. So he has all these ladies who eat together. And every week I go, or he comes or whatever, but we meet every week. And every week, these ladies, as well as my dad, ask the same question. And I respond every time. And also, during the course of dinner, with 6 people, I think they talk about the same thing probably 3 times each. So they go around the same kind of conversation. And now I'm so used to it, so I don't say, well, I told you before, or something like that. And I just listen, and I explain who I am and all these things. But that's the kind of thing that happens. And if you don't quite understand, or if you have a very stressful job, you really cannot handle that. Right now, I'm sort of freelancing, so I don't have that much of a stress, so I can handle it, and I'm so used to it. And so that's okay. But these things, and I'm very lucky because my dad is in the senior residence. But if you're, live with them, you have to respond the same questions 10 times a day, which becomes quite stressful. So those are the kinds of things, just a little bit of the flavor. We have so many more serious things. But that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. So that could be your issue as well. What we would like you to do is that each group has a sort of a profile of the person. And you can go to any one of these 6 groups, take your chair, and read the profile and figure out what just try to understand what the situation is. And think of the ways, think of the problem or the issue or the needs that these people will have, and try to come up with a solution with some kind of technology. It doesn't have to be high technology. It can be something very simple. And try to come up with some ideas that you can use, some technology. And be ready to talk about it by using this big mozoshi paper at the end. So you have about a little over an hour or so. First of all, go to any one of these 6 groups and take your chair and just discuss. And probably it's a good idea to introduce yourselves, first of all, to the group, but don't exchange cards because that takes too long. So we can do that after the session, and we can do it during the networking session later on. So that's what we would like to do. And just try to understand the situation, and you can pretty much be creative, or you can use your imagination and say, well, this person will have these things. I mean, the trick about these things is that don't take it too seriously, because then it becomes very depressing. Try to come up with something that makes their life more fun and easier, rather than, less stressful per se. Clear? Any questions?
Okay. Technology you were talking about, how fantasy can like real-based fantasy-based be totally fantasy-based?
Yes, you can be. Either way. Yeah, let's not, if we start talking about what level, it becomes too much. But, so I would sort of depend upon it's up to your sort of imagination. And so that's essentially it. And I think we may have some people with a technological background. So you come up with the idea and ask these people whether that's possible or not. And in my understanding, most of the things that you can think of can be resolved, can be done technologically. So that's the sort of the sky's the limit. Okay? Okay, why don't you go into the 6 groups, and I believe that the people from Vanessa will be in each one of the groups. So you can ask any questions.